Hi. So I got a question. How do people grow and change through practicing rag honesty? How does daily practice, ongoing practice of rag honesty impact, or does it actually have ongoing impact? And what's kind of the normal or typical path? Well, I don't know what's a typical path, and I guess it really depends on the person. So I can talk about myself, and I can talk about the people around me who I've seen. Um, I think even though this concept is pretty simple, like telling the truth, noticing what happens in my body, not withholding important information, sharing when I'm nervous or embarrassed or ashamed or worried, sharing that in words, um, asking for what I want, owning my motivations. All that is pretty simple, and still it's kind of quite a lot to adapt and takes time. Many of us have been taught to bullshit and lie and not to tell the truth, be polite or considerate or kind of sugarcoating, or have got the example at home or school or at workplace or somewhere else where we have been rewarded for being silent, lying, not telling the truth, making ourselves smaller, more invisible, stuff like that. So I think it's a lot about unlearning, and that takes time. And I tend to say that it gets more difficult until it gets easier. For example, with anger, many of us have kind of kept anger down, and it's maybe grown up somewhere in the subconscious or maybe even consciously, and we have all this discomfort in our bodies and bodily aches and depression and other stuff. And when we start to express the anger, it can be a lot and can be a bit overwhelming, a bit like, whoa, I became such an angry person. Or people around you might say, like, are you never gonna stop that? You're so angry nowadays. I don't like you being angry. I worry that you have changed totally to worse. And still, I see that as part of the process, that it gets more tough before it does get easier. And when it does get easier, at least for me, it's kind of long-lasting reward. Like, I said what I wanted to say, I faced the person, I stayed in contact, and I got over my anger, and it's no longer with me. So if something comes between me and my partner or a friend or my parent, it's not about all the history and them doing again the same thing and being as they are, as they always have been, but rather it's about the situation. So there's not that huge history come into play. So that brings kind of some lightness and easiness in my experience to the interactions, that it's when we talk, it's about the moment and it's about that topic and not about all the history and all the unexpressed resentments and secrets and that kind of stuff. Another thing is kind of when we clear the anger, the secrets, the unexpressed things, could be also attractions or appreciations from the past, then there is more space to play and create. And for me, it means like figuring out, what do I want to do right now? What do I want to do tomorrow? What do I want to do next week? What I want to do with my life? Eventually I'll die, and this is the time I have now. What do I want? And that's pretty exciting way of living, like ongoingly checking, what do I want? So then there was a other part of this question, like, what is the typical path of somebody? Like, they come to workshops, and do they then drop out or continue, or what happens? So some people come once and then we never hear about them. And quite a few times somebody came early on, and then 2 or 3 years down the road, we see them, they are there, and they told things they have done in their lives and how they've had some honest conversation, how they have cleared some past hurts, how they are maybe a bit more honest at the moment, or open their mouth more at work, or they've sort of forgotten about it and it's like, hey, there was some little seed in me that it's now calling me to come back and take up this practice. And maybe now I'm more ready for it. So that can happen. People can get pretty scared and worried. Somebody told me that, oh, I don't want to come to the 8-day intensive because I worry you'll tell me to go and complete with my mother. Well, I'll tell you to complete with your mother even if you don't come to the 8-day intensive. So don't worry about it. And when I say I tell you, I propose. I say, I think this might serve you. I want you to consider this. Will you consider it? And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm making proposals and comments. And I imagine most come from experience and from a place of care and love. Like, hey, I see you. I see your struggle. I see your suffering. I can relate to you. I want to serve you. I want to support you. This is something I imagine could work for you. And I don't know. So I'm no God. We're no God as trainers, and we have some ideas, and you can check them out and then go by them if you want. For me, Raga Honesty is more like a way of being and a lifestyle than a particular tool or a trick. And it's definitely not a self-improvement program. So it's kind of like I'm already perfect as I am, and how I can more own it, what I am, the good and the bad, like all of me, and put it out there. Typical path. So yeah, I guess people start with a weekend workshop most times, and they come to more weekends, come to retreats, do some advanced stuff, and maybe do intense 8 days. I think a big part is now that we do have this active online community. So there's a sense of like we are sharing as a community. You know, I might be here in the woods of Finland, somebody else is in Italy or Munich or in London, and we can share and talk and dance via video. And some people have never met each other and they feel closeness and trust and safe for sharing. So that's one great thing. And then people might connect on their own as well and ask for support. So it's not only the workshops, but the whole lifestyle, the whole community, the whole way of being as a human being. So I don't think I fully answered your question, and I talked 7.5 minutes. So it shows that I'm pretty compassionate about this and totally not following the rule that good video should be just less than a minute, I guess. All right, give it a try if you didn't, and if you did, don't give up too easy, because that's about not giving up on you and how you can make yourself happy. And this is a bit of a sales pitch, and I actually truly believe in it too. Ciao.